new moon on July 5th in the home sign of Cancer. This is beautiful. There's also some really interesting aspects, a couple of warning signs, and we'll talk about those in a little bit. But this new moon feels like a reprieve, really feels like a great moment in July because it's pretty intense. Like the energy surrounding this new moon, before, after, pretty intense. We'll talk about why that is and kind of what's coming. But this new moon is a really good time to be nourished and to ask yourself, what do I need to feel nourished? Maybe you need more alone time. Maybe you need more deep conversations. Maybe you need more loving connection. Maybe you need more touch. Maybe you need more water, like lake, ocean. Maybe it's like a salt bath. What is it that would really nourish you? And from this place, so this is a really great new moon ritual, from this place of being so nourished, right? So nourished, like soul nourished, emotionally nourished, mentally nourished, physically nourished. Think about those different levels. And from the place of nourished, asking, feeling into, reflecting on, meditating on, right? From the place of my cup runneth over, I'm so nourished. What are the intentions I'm setting for this new moon? What are the intentions I'm setting for my life, right? We're a little over halfway through the calendar year. This is a really powerful new moon in a setting intentions way. It's a very powerful feminine moon. We're going to talk about this, go deeper into this in a moment. But feminine, what does that mean? A powerful feminine moon, really leaning into our feminine wisdom during this new moon, leaning into our intuitive natures, our emotional wisdom, our capacity to flow, our interconnectedness to the all of everything, right? That's the feminine, these really embodied, the flow of life is the feminine. The knowing that we really are just energy. We really are just energy that has taken form. But we really are much more connected than we think we are, or than we realize we are. Also, the flow of love. The flow of love can be really powerful. So in this kind of intention setting, really encouraging us all, myself included, of course, to spend some time. Cancer takes time, right? Cancer is slower, takes time to get into the depths. That's Cancer. That's part of the gift of Cancer, is Cancer can go really, really deep, really, really deep. And with so much feminine energy, there's literally a feminine energy on almost every single major masculine planet. All of them except Mercury. All of them except Mercury have a feminine, a powerful feminine energy archetype right on their butts. All of them do. I've never seen that in astrology. I've never seen it. This is such a moment in time. It is such a moment in time. One, to lean into our feminine, just like I was kind of talking about there, and we'll talk, maybe I'll finish that off quick. But one, to lean into our feminine, and two, to open up to union. What does it mean to come into deeper union with my own masculine, my own feminine and masculine, coming into deeper union? What are the sacred powers? They don't even have to be sacred. What are the powers that awaken in me? What capacities awaken in me when my masculine and feminine unite? When they're dancing in harmony and they're not fighting. When your own feminine, your own intuitive nature, your own emotional nature, right? Your own life force, just energy moving and rolling, is dancing harmoniously with that aspect of you that leads, directs, and guides towards something. This is powerful. Do you see how powerful of an intention setting this can be? And then the next step to the intention setting, right? From this deep place, it's deep place, this deep, let the feminine be involved. She'll take you into deeper wisdom, deeper truth, right? Deeper purpose, deeper meaning, deeper expressions of love, deeper fulfillment. Let her tell you, she'll tell you, Cancer will tell you all day long from the deepest depths of soul, which ends up being what is so aligned for us, so true for us. Part of what the feminine is always wanting is deep alignment, is deep soulful alignment. The feminine is soul, right? Like soulful alignment. Like how hot is it, right? When you see a human, whatever gender they're identifying with or not identifying with, when you see someone and they are just in such soul alignment, it's so attractive. It's so magnetic, right? The feminine, and she will, knowingly or unknowingly, and this is part of what's going on in the astrology, so feel how this is showing up in your life, knowingly or unknowingly will be constantly poking, pushing, prodding you, the person you're in relationship with, to get into deeper alignment, to move from a deeper place within self, a deeper truth within self, always. It's part of the feminine gifting. So the feminine in the world gifts us with that. The feminine in our friends, our lovers, our partners gifts us with that. It's an aspect of the feminine oracle. I've talked about this a little bit. If you want to know more about that, maybe leave a comment. Someday we will do an episode. If there's enough interest, we will do an episode on the feminine oracle. And what is that? How do we access that? Or how do we recognize it when it's showing up for us? So the feminine in the world will always be pushing us to get into alignment with our purpose, right? The feminine in you, I'll talk about myself. The feminine in myself, when I'm looking outside of myself, it's like this longing to just like be so in alignment. Anyways, we don't have to harp on that, but just know that energy is really loud. So something we could do to work with it in the astrology of the moment. This isn't just on the 5th, of course. It's going to be the days before, the days after, the whole moon cycle, really and truly. It's to be so honest with ourselves about where we're out of alignment. Be so okay to see where the world is showing you that you're out of alignment, where your loved ones are showing you that you're out of alignment, where your friends, your family, anything in the world is showing you that you're out of alignment. It's really what's wanting to happen in all of July. It's just like the world conspiring to show you where you're missing the mark with regards to deepest purpose being expressed and with regards to your deepest love gift being given. Cancer. Deepest, the feminine, deepest love gift being given. So this whole month, being really open and really curious. It's like no judgment, right? No judgment. We are so curious about it and we are so loving when we see something, feel something that's pointing to where we're a little bit off, right? Where the world is showing us like just a little more left. Oh, and this part, move that a little bit to the right. Oh, and this tiny little adjustment in your life. And tweak this foundational piece so you can build on that. That's Saturn retrograde, by the way. And Neptune retrograde is all about soul alignment. And Neptune just went retrograde on the 2nd of July. So extraordinarily loud still during this new moon. Okay, so let's dive a little bit deeper into this Saturn retrograde and Neptune retrograde. So this is where we start to get into this like dance of the masculine and the feminine between all of these big hitting planets, right? So Saturn is retrograde karma. Saturn's your karma. It's the aspect that is always pointing you toward self-mastery. It's the aspect that is delivering the karma, that is delivering the life lessons, that is delivering the reality checks, right? Like, it's Mr. Miyagi, it's Gandalf, it's like the wise old sorcerer, wise old elder, right? The wizened elder who is always there guiding, always there guiding, always there guiding. It's oftentimes through a lot of practice, right? That's Saturn, is like practice. Saturn is one foot in front of the other, walking up the mountain. Or that's Saturn. Saturn is also about your foundations, your structures. What readjustments do you need to make to the structures in your life and the foundations so that you can build on them based on who you are now and where it is that you're going, right? That alignment piece. Where are the structures out of alignment? Where are your foundations a little bit off? And this can be anything. It can be anything. It doesn't have to be physical structures. We always want to think physical structures. And yeah, that's Saturn. It's 3D reality, but he's in Pisces. So that's the unseen. What are the unseen structures, right, that need recalibrating? Boundaries is a really good one to think about. The restructuring of boundaries to support your alignment, to support your full true expression of self. That's really good to think about. Of course, with Pisces also comes your spiritual path, right? Are there adjustments to be made to your spiritual practice, your spiritual path, your spiritual life that support, let me get these words right, that support your deepest purposes being revealed and expressed and your deepest love being given, right? For ultimate, really ultimate expression, ultimate fulfillment, ultimate fulfillment. I mean, really and truly, this is fulfillment. It's Cancer season. Like, it's fulfillment. It's being so fulfilled. Like, you feel so full. You feel so full with your purpose. You feel so full with love. You feel so full, right? Just so full with energy, with vitality. You just feel so full. And so that's a really good practice to lean into. What makes me feel full? You know, oftentimes we're feeling into, when it comes to like what direction to take, it's like, what lights me up? What lights me up? Cancer season is what makes me feel full. Like, what is it that fills me? What fills me? What is it that's like soul food? And I feel full, right? So those are really good questions to ask ourselves when working in this energy. All right, so that's the Saturn aspect. It's loud. It's going to be loud during this new moon. He just went retrograde on the 29th of June, so still very loud. He's opposite. So here's where these masculine and feminine dance comes in. He's opposite Juno. Juno, goddess of marriage, goddess of contracts, goddess of long-term relationships. He's opposite Juno. So feel into that. Feel into what Lord of Karma, Saturn, is bringing up with regards to long-term relationships. It doesn't have to be an intimate partnership. It can be other types of long-term relationships. But that's really what Juno will bring up. Can bring up an over sense of loyalty, can bring up a staying somewhere longer than serves, can bring up commitment phobia, when the truest, deepest thing to be doing for ourselves, the most fulfilling thing would be to be taking a step more into commitment. So it can go both ways. It's not just, I think a lot of times we just lean toward the ending of some sort of long-term commitment. It can also be moving into something there. So just really feeling what that aspect is. So just also knowing like there's this feminine force looking at Saturn, right? Right with Saturn. So it's like the masculine right now in us and in the world is not going to be able to move much without the feminine. Really. Same thing, the feminine's not going to be able to move much without the masculine. because they're all in these oppositions or squares. It's crazy, wild, intense. We're going to explore all these, all right? Something fun that you could do while we go through this is feel into which union, like which masculine, feminine dance lights you up the most. Like which one are you just, and maybe for no reason at all. Don't let it be heady. Maybe you're just like, the Persephone, who's Persephone with? The Persephone Jupiter. That's just glorious to me anyways. Like, Persephone Jupiter, that really lights me up. So just feel as we go through these. All right, we're not going to go to Persephone Jupiter just yet. I want to dance over into this Neptune because Neptune's also in Pisces, so there's a lot of linking happening here. So, and Neptune's just gone retrograde just like Saturn. So Neptune retrograde in Pisces on the final degree of Pisces. That makes it karmic. It's the karmic degree of the sign. Neptune's in his home sign of Pisces, the mystic, spiritual realms. Again, we're still looking boundaryless, borderless. He brings in the cloud of unknowing to dissolve patterns, to dissolve thought patterns, to dissolve the old, it's like the mystical fog descends and dissipates things for us. Now, he's opposite Black Moon Lilith. Now, Black Moon to me, in astrology, is the conglomerate of the dark goddesses. A lot of people refer to Black Moon as Black Moon Lilith. To me, this is the conglomerate of the dark goddesses. So you think Kali, Lilith, of course. You think Medusa, Durga, Black Madonna, all the dark goddesses right there is opposing Neptune. To me, this is also Neptune in his beautiful mystical fog, right? To dissolve karmas, to dissolve your current reality, with the Black Moon there, dissolve your current reality, dissolve your karmas, dissolve your ego structures. So there's a lot of purifying that's happening here. It's almost like those of us who've experienced a big spiritual awakening, and then right after is like the purification, the detoxing, the spiritual crises, the dark night of the soul, because the ego is being dissolved, right? So it's like a purging. So this is a lot, if you've heard me talk about this, like collective purging that's happening. It's almost like psychic free radicals, kind of, we're in like the psychic swamp sort of energy, and that'll last for a little bit longer into July. So if you're having any of that type of stuff, or for some of us, it's just like real tired, right? And any kinds of forms of detoxy, you can feel almost like bogged down by energetics, or you're taking on more than you normally do, or your boundaries are really watery. Just be aware, some self-practice. We worked intensely with this on July 1st in ReWilding membership, like intimately with boundaries, like one of the best boundary practices that you can work with for moving into healthiest, highest expression of boundaries on all levels: mental boundaries, psychic boundaries, emotional boundaries, physical boundaries, right? So if that's something that sings to you, go jump into ReWilding membership. It's $59. You get a whole month of access. You can stay if you love it. If you don't, that's fine. Just come for a month, but it's well worth it just to get the boundary practice if that's something that's singing to you. Okay, so Neptune and Black Moon, I think that's maybe all I really want to say about that. They will be very active during this new moon. So that's another dance of that masculine and feminine. Now, another dance of this masculine and feminine, which is fun, is Uranus is opposing asteroid Lilith. So this is where, in astrology, for me at least, is the Lilith point to access the specific dark goddess energy, where Black Moon is like the conglomerate of the dark goddesses. Lilith, asteroid, is specifically Lilith, right? She is one of the archetypes in the face of the dark goddess, right? She is one of the dark goddess archetypes, very specifically Lilith. Lilith opposing Uranus. This is interesting. So Uranus is freedom seeker, right? It's Uranus, expect the unexpected, just freedom, right? Lilith, she is the wild woman liberator, right? She is all about freedom. She is all about liberation of the feminine. So for these two to be opposing, that's like fire meets gasoline, right? Meets pyrotechnic, meets like 3 other things that just love fire, add to fire, wield fire, want fire to be free. Right? So that's some of us could really be feeling this call to access the wild within ourselves, the wild, the uninhibited, just really like the wild woman, the wild woman in self. I mean, and Uranus is like, set her free, right? Like, set her free. Like, more wild, more better is kind of what Uranus is saying. So that's the dance there. And by the way, all of these oppositions are either exact or they are 1 degree off. So they are full on. This is a full on dance of masculine and feminine. And again, maybe feel for you which one's loudest, and you can like deepen into those archetypal energies. Or there's a couple of retreats that are open, like the Kali retreat is open, Lilith retreat is open if you want to work with Neptune or you want to work with Black Moon, just the dark goddess. Join membership. That same workshop where I talked about the boundaries, we also work with Neptune and we work with the dark goddess. This is potentially the workshop that I was able to take us into the most activations, and we were able to do the most amount of practice. We didn't share at all. There was no Q&A in this one. It was just 2 straight hours of we're going for it. So that can really support. It was created just a couple days ago. So in this energy to support us through July. And again, that's only $59 for a month worth of access, and you can leave anytime. But of course, if you want to stay, stay. Okay, let's keep going here. So let's keep talking about these oppositions and these squares that are going on. So I mentioned this earlier, Jupiter, the next masculine archetype, he is all about expansion, growth, breaking through glass ceilings. He's opposite Persephone. Isn't this stunning, right? Another dark goddess, Persephone. She was maiden turned into queen of the underworld. That was her journey. It was like this, it's beautiful rites of passage for the feminine. It's a beautiful initiation into your queen, initiation into the power hidden in your depths, the power hidden within, the aspects of self hidden within. Sometimes the seemingly judged or devalued parts of self, like for some, it's our sexuality. It's been judged, it's been demonized. And that was part of Persephone's, and some women or men who journey into Persephone, part of what their journey ends up being is a real sexual reclamation. It's a real sexual liberation. It's really moving into full expression of sexuality from a very pure place, right? Like even the wildest, seemingly most wicked, right? Wicked in parentheses here, expressions of sexuality, and that's divine too, right? And that's divine too. It all comes from what is the intention behind that? Is it heart aligned, right? Because anything can be dripping with the sacred. Any expression, you got someone tied up, chains around their neck, I don't know, whatever sort of like seemingly, dark fantasy that you have can be dripping with the sacred and dripping with the divine based on the intention and the energetics you put behind it. And that's part of sacred sexuality journey. And that's part of what Persephone shows you, because she's a dark goddess and she's like, and the dark expressions hold the power and are just as sacred, right? It's beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful journey. We might have the Persephone retreat open. So if that archetypal energy is singing to you, I don't know, check the description below. I don't know exactly what we'll have available. They're not open all the time. So if they are open and they sing to you, you should hop on them because they won't stay open for very long. Okay. So then let's talk about Mars. Coming up, I think every astrologer is talking about this, and we'll probably go into this in like maybe a specific video, or I'll just do like one of those reels where I'm in my like baseball cap and it's super casual. But Mars is going to conjunct Uranus. It's a big deal. It's a thing, right? It's going to be a thing that's happening July 15th, July 14th to the 16th. It'll be the loudest. It's happening on the fixed star Algol. This adds to this intensity. So it's a thing. It's a thing. We'll talk about this later, but just know we're building toward that. It's a fiery, explosive, who knows, thing. I'll see what I can bring through for that conversation. But before that happens, Mars on this new moon is opposite Pallas Athena. Isn't this is too good, right? And it's either exact. I think this one's exact. They're all either exact or off by 1 degree. I'm telling you, the balance of the masculine and feminine is ridiculous. So Mars is warrior, Pallas Athena is warrior. Mars is masculine warrior, Pallas Athena is feminine warrior. It's just stunning. It's stunning to me, right? So I love this. I love this. And you can kind of feel into what it means for you. It will express differently for all of us, and I don't want to give you too much around what it means. I really invite us all to feel into, because the masculine and the feminine being in these oppositions like this can bring up an infinite amount of possibilities for all of us. It could be showing you where your masculine's overriding your feminine. It could be showing the next person where their feminine is swamping out their masculine and they can't get a damn thing done. It can be showing us where we're struggling to find where they can work together. Like, wait, what? They can work together? Are you kidding me? Wait, what? There's a third energy that the two can create? Like in myself? What is that? What is this sacred union? It could be bringing up things around curiosities, like a spiritual aspect of it. Well, what is the divine masculine, the divine feminine, and the sacred union? What is Shiva Shakti? Like, what does this create inside of myself? What powers does this awaken? What modalities? And so just letting it really like inspire you. What is it inspiring specifically in you? Okay, so let's keep going with this. I think we have one more of these big guys, masculine archetypal planets, to talk to around these oppositions and squares. So this is a square, but will be in opposition shortly. So it's Pluto. Pluto is in a square to Hygeia. That's so good. And will be opposing Venus in a few days. So just know that Pluto will be coming into opposition with Venus. Venus will be moving out of Cancer into Leo. And when she makes that move, she will oppose Pluto. That's a thing. Like, that's going to be a thing because Venus is so heartfelt. Like, Venus is very embodied for us. It'll be a thing. But we'll talk about that more too, because I think that's going to be a really powerful aspect for our ReWilding community to dive into. But before that happens, on this new moon, it's Pluto, Lord of the Underworld. That was who initiated Persephone into her queendom. Woke her up to her hidden mysteries. That's Pluto. Woken up to her hidden, that which was hidden in her. The initiation into her darkness. Not bad darkness, power darkness. She became a queen from that place, right? Sovereign, whole unto self. This is who I came here to be. So that aspect of the masculine, the underworld, also shadow worker, right? Pluto, transformation, death, rebirth, all of those sorts of themes as well. Power, money, the occult, the hidden, sexuality, anything that we deem as power or associated with power, is square to Hygeia. Hygeia, Kundalini, goddess of miraculous healing. Stunning archetypal energy. Pluto always kind of adds an awakening, a depth to the energy of the feminine that he's in aspect with. So it's really opening up the door to Hygeia, the aspect of us that is Kundalini, goddess of miraculous healing and awakening. Really beautiful aspect to work with. There's a lot of different ways that I work with Hygeia. Sometimes it's for Kundalini awakenings. Sometimes it's to open up to the sacred union. Sometimes it's to open up to sacred sexuality. Sometimes it's to just do a lot of like support of detoxing, purifying. I sometimes call one practice with her a ReWilding rescue remedy. It's very awakening, but it's also very healing. It's also very purifying, kind of works on every single layer and level of the body. We also do that in this month's membership. So remember that thing I talked about too for $59? That's got like the most amount of practices that I've ever been able to get into 2 hours. We also do a Hygeia activation at the end. So if you are interested and you're like, I don't know what this Hygeia thing is, or Kundalini awakening or spiritual awakening, or, well, I just want to really support myself in, you know, healing and clearing out my aura and just like cleaning out the energetic centers of my body, just go get this practice, right? Again, just if it sings to you, it's not for everybody. I'm well aware of that. But it's there. It's there. If you want to go deeper into any of these things, this is the workshop that supports this moment in time. That's why I do them in membership. They always are in alignment with the current moment in time. Okay. Where are we at here? My goodness. I'm long-winded today, I feel like. All right. So let's talk a little bit. Let me just feel. I think I want to talk a little bit more about, we'll talk a little more myth. Why not? I don't know. Seems like we're going for it in this conversation. So this new moon's happening in Cancer, the sign of the mother. Opposing this new moon is Demeter, Persephone's mother, Ceres. Demeter, Persephone's mother. This can bring up more mothering energy. It can bring up challenging aspects to mothering. It can bring up inner child healing. It can bring up the mother relationship, our own relationship to our own mother, our own inner mother. Of course, the external we can look at can also bring up far beyond just personal mother within ourselves or mothers that we've experienced in the world, and into greater relationship to Mother Earth, Gaia. What is our relationship there? So some of us might be really called to work in those ways, or feel like it's really a powerful time to connect in. That may feel really nourishing or healing. Might feel really healing as well. If we talk about the myth of Demeter or Ceres, Persephone's mother, remember Persephone was maiden, and when she was maiden, she was with her mother, Demeter. She was then dragged into the underworld, some say abducted, by Pluto, right? Pluto, remember Pluto's square Hygeia right now, which is just a lot of magic, a lot of healing, a lot of Kundalini awakening. But Pluto abducted Persephone, brought her into the underworld, a rites of passage, an initiation. She went from one stage of life to another stage of life. This could bring up where parts of ourselves didn't make the transition. We didn't have a proper rites of passage. This new moon could be a really good time to do a rites of passage for yourself. Maybe you've moved into another stage of life, but you haven't fully owned it. Maybe there's parts of you, right? Like, I don't know. I'm a 44-year-old woman now. And let's just say there's parts of me that are still wanting to, I don't know, like live in my 20s, right? And it's not serving. Like it's not serving. And so something I could do around this new moon is like, let me pull my power into this present fucking moment. This is a really good practice to do, by the way. Let me pull all of my power into this present moment, right? So what rites of passage, what parts of self didn't make it into my 44-year-old fucking woman self? This can be really, really powerful, because sometimes we've left a lot of our juice or our life force or our energy, or we're expending a ton of energy that we could be using to create in this present moment, that we could be using to live more, love more, that we could be using to fall into our deeper purpose, right? The things that are more fulfilling from a love place. We could be actually aligning. So remember, this out of alignment, this whole month is about being shown where we're out of alignment. Well, what parts of self are out of alignment? What parts of self are still wanting to be fucking 20 when you're 44? I don't know. Like, what parts of self that didn't make it? What can you do this new moon to usher them into the present moment? Because we all know that there is really only power in the present moment. And the more of you that is in this moment, this is like a soul retrieval. This is a form of soul retrieval. And remember, I said that this is a moment in time where it could be soul retrievals, right? It could be soul retrievals. So feeling into that, that may or may not spark something for you. My gosh, it is amazing to be here with you all. I love that we get to do all of these astrology conversations. I love the informal ones with the baseball cap that just randomly pop up. I love these longer, deeper dives on new moons and full moons. I love that we're starting to explore deeper topics. Like if you haven't seen Sister Wound, that's really worthwhile. It came out 2 weeks ago. If you haven't seen that one, I would very much, maybe only a week ago, I think it was last week, but work with the dark goddess. It's powerful during this big feminine energy of this new moon, right? Cancer new moon, it's very feminine, opposite Ceres. The mother, very, very feminine. So if you are feeling at all like, oh, I want to go further into this feminine energy. I want to go further into feminine relationships. I want to go further into the dark goddess. Go check that one out. I would say go do that next. Then I would say go do the workshop and membership. Just go do those 2 hours, right? Go do the Neptune dissolving, right? We work with the big karma that's ready to be dissolved, ready to be moved. We work, anyways, I don't need to tell you all that stuff. Just go try it out if it's singing. All right. So much love to you all. I'm always in the comments for the first couple of days. If this video served, maybe hit the subscribe so you don't miss anything. Maybe hit the like button. It helps. I don't know. It just helps us to share more. This is our motto at ReWilding. Make good shit and share it. So complicated, right? We are so complicated here. Make good shit, share it. And that really helps us to share it. So you'd be helping us if you're listening on the podcast. Reviews are super, super helpful. Come join us in the Facebook group. We're always having good conversations there. And until next time, I just love you all so much. And I'm so crazy grateful that we get to create together like this, because it really, truly is a co-creation for me. I wouldn't be here without you all. And so I'm wildly grateful for what we're creating together.